Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by Miguel Porter. Miguel, how you doing?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Decent week.
It was a really nice week. We had great workouts, great training sessions. There's a lot going on at the gym. I do feel like now we're entering into a new season for like a lot of things. Like physically, it's starting to actually
Yeah.
feel like fall a little bit, which is kind of alarming for upstate New York that we are entering into the correct season. So I don't know what's going to happen if we're going to have a heat wave or early hail and snow and stuff. What do you think is going to happen?
I think this is fairly common. I always feel like there's like a pump fake. Like we get a couple weeks in September, which are fall-esque, and then it gets really hot again. And then like we'll even have like a couple or one really hot week in October. So I think this is a part of it. I think it's like the vibe, like things will start to feel like fall again overall. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're probably right. Like I haven't had the AC on. It's just been windows open, doors open. So that's been nice. It's a little less buggy, but then, you can't put the air conditioning cover on yet. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
So, well, there's a lot going on in the news, and we have a lot of barbell club related stuff to talk about. But first, the WFP World Fitness Project. You just mentioned to me it's been going on. I have seen little clips here and there because it's on YouTube, which I don't think it
Yep.
was last year. I was completely out of the loop last year. So that's pretty cool. That
Yeah.
more fitness competitions.
Yeah. I mean, aside from them as well, there are so many things going on. Um, I think there's ethics, which is also not like another functional fitness type of competition that goes on. And yeah, there's like Xenon something as well. And yeah, it's just really fun to like see those things becoming more popular. And even like obviously there's like high rocks, but the different skill levels as well. High rocks
Yeah.
is very like low barrier to entry. World Fitness Project is like up there, and then like the Xenon and Athex things are kind of like in the middle. So it's interesting to see people get into uh, like the CrossFit esque space through all these different means.
Yeah, I'm really interested in Xenon. I know absolutely nothing about it other than like I think it has 10 tests, and that number
Yeah,
could
I
be
think so.
wrong. And they have like they it's kind of like a Spartan thing where or kind of like our high rocks where they just push you through
Yeah.
station to station. Is it stations or is it heats where it's like, all right, we're doing heavy lift now and then moving on?
I think it's stations, and I think you're right with the 10 because I think I saw something about like decathlon of fitness or something. Um,
Okay, yeah.
but yeah, it seems to be because I've been looking about like world records. Surya Meha, who was at the gym last year, um, she seems to be like crushing it this year and like getting world records. So it seems to be like reps at each stage or something.
Okay. Now this is interesting. World record. Everyone loves to do this.
Yeah.
Like our our 80K regional has a world record. It's the 80K regional world record.
Yeah.
I don't even know how people make these claims or if I guess it's functional fitness space because what they're doing is CrossFit, but it's not CrossFit, because it's not sanctioned by CrossFit themselves, but it's born from CrossFit. At what point does it get crazy with world records? And can you say you have a world record in some Metcon, but then do that? Like I don't know how this all works. And let's say if they do that Metcon at the CrossFit Games and someone beats the record there, does it retroactively go over to this other thing like Xenon or High Rocks? Like, how does all this work? I don't know.
Right. I think, yeah, I mean, it's that thing of just make it a specific distinction of like, we only do this here. Here's our, even like a trademark. So it's like CrossFit couldn't do this exact thing because we've trademarked this specific event. I think it's weird just because like world records seem like something that's supposed to be old. So like these new sports coming in, you're like, well, you've only had two events. How is this a world record? But I mean, it's the same thing when they like reshuffle the weight classes. And, right now for weightlifting, the world standards for a lot of the weight classes have been fairly low. So whenever a continental starts, it's just new world record and like three people get it in the same go. But yeah, it is odd to just that they're calling everything world record. And I'm like, I guess I would just call it event win or event record. But technically, yeah.
I feel like it's it's always the broadcast team that might like be guilty of all this stuff because they want to use the biggest terms for like everything.
Yeah.
Like this might be the next greatest of all time person, but like they just throw stuff out there like that all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I do they do they do that in other sports that are like longer standing? Like, because I listen to the way they talk sometimes on the broadcast for like the functional fitness space. We'll just lump it all into that. And they're always like hyping everything up like that. But I don't know if I ever remember that listening to football where they're all like they'll talk about stats and like all-time records and but those are long-standing things. But I don't know if I ever hear them talk about like, oh, look at Miguel Porter, the new quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's had two great seasons. He's on track to be in the next GOAT or something like that. I just don't know if I hear them talk like that. Do they?
Yeah. And I think it is because of the age of these things. Because they're so new, I think everyone's like, everything is so much more short sighted. Like at the time that Matt Frazier won all of his in a row, that seemed like this can never happen again. But it's like our sport is only 20 years old. Like this, we hope that this happens again and that it gets crushed and, that all these different things happen. But yeah, it's different when the sport is so young because one, you have to draw the eyes in, you have to draw competitors in. And a big way
Yeah.
to do that is say, make it as big as possible and say that things are like a world record or something for people to chase.
Yeah, I get that, like setting things up for people to chase. I know when like I hear people talk like that, it almost makes me tune out because it's they do it so often. Then it makes my brain think, oh, you're saying nothing. Like
Yeah.
you're saying nothing new. You're just making stuff up or adding things in for flair and fluff instead of talking more about the substance of what they're doing or
Mhm.
the tracking of the race. So I it always
Right.
makes me kind of tune out a little bit because I'm like, you just said that in the last heat, about that other guy,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, no, it's interesting the growth of all of it, and it's also a funny thing whenever these things kind of pop up. The CrossFit haters are amazing. Like CrossFit like clearly lives rent free in their brain because like they just can't like move on and let it go. And it's almost like if CrossFit did truly go away, what would they do? Like I guess they would just move on to the next sport to hate on or something like that. But it's interesting
Yeah.
when these new things pop up that people use that as a way to almost say, "Oh, look, CrossFit's dying." But is it dying if it keeps creating offspring out there? I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's the same way looking the opposite way. I mean, like there are a lot of people in those comments who like if anything goes wrong, if like think about all the like judging mistakes that might happen at a semifinal or the games. If this happens in like something that's newer, that of course is going to have those growing pains. They have the long-standing CrossFit people also in those comments saying like, "Yep, this will never work. This will disappear in a year or two." And it's I don't know. It's funny. It's is CrossFit becoming like the crotchety old man also of like when they came into the space, that's probably how everyone was talking about them. And they're like, we're the new guys. We're not going to listen. We don't care about what you guys are doing. And then you become the same exact thing. But yeah, I think
It
all of
absolutely
these
was. Like
things,
if especially if we think about like in our niche sports, weightlifting, boy,
right.
the weightlifting community was like some people were like really open and receptive to it and like, hey, let's do seminars, let's teach these people. Glenn Penley, great example. Greg Everett, great example, up to a certain point before he had a falling out with the company.
Yeah.
And they had a lot of that going on back in the day too. Uh, Definitely a lot of critiques on how weightlifting was being taught, how weightlifting was being implemented into the program early on. And I'm sure if you look at those comments from the first games, or maybe not first games, like the second and third games when they're doing snatches, boy, you'll see a lot of comments about the snatches.
Yeah. And it's funny. Well, my algorithm has been very much like triathlon. And it's funny how like the growth of all these sports at the same time is causing like the confusion that we get as like weightlifters. When we say like, oh, I'm a weightlifter, and they're like, oh, so like squat, bench, deadlift, and you're like, no, that's different. I saw somebody post a video where they were like, they had their Ironman wristband on, and someone was like, "Oh, you do Ironman?" And they were like, "Yeah, I just did one." And they were like, "Oh, my friend did a high rocks last week." Those are like the same thing, right? And they were like fighting so hard to not be like, that is completely a different thing. But
Okay,
all
good,
these
good, good.
sports,
It's
as they
fine.
like,
It's good that someone else is finally experiencing that.
yeah, no, I think I think with all of these things, that's exactly what's going to happen. People are going to know one example and not the others, and they're just going to lump them all together because they're building at the same time. And it's going to get on everyone's nerves, but it is funny to see from like oh, now others are going to get this. Like these new sports are building up, and everyone's just going to, no matter how different they are, everyone's just going to lump them together.
Yeah, and they are different. It's like if you're going to be a weightlifter, you have to really specialize. Like that's the thing. It's like this is like a constant argument, and this is where like a lot of like disconnect comes in. Specialist versus generalist, and a lot of the problems that the specialists have with CrossFitters is that they don't always understand that CrossFitters are trying to be generalist. It's like, oh no, we're trying to be the best rower we could possibly be, but not we're not going to put so much time into it that we're the best ever rower or anywhere near the level of a competitive rower, even though some people actually might build up the work capacity to like get up there a little bit.
Right.
Same thing with weightlifting. It's like, well, we're just trying to snatch efficiently enough to do 20 in a row, or whatever Metcon it is, and also be strong and chase those PRs. But we're not trying to qualify for nationals, but some people might because you
Yeah.
will get outliers who are able to have strengths in one way and weaknesses in another way. So I think that's the if we look at it two ways, the specialists don't understand that the the CrossFitters are just trying to be generalist and be generally good at everything, and be well rounded. And then the generalists are like, well, you're only good at one thing. Like, what else can you do? Look, you can do you can run a marathon, but you can't do one push-up. You can't do one air squat. You can barely lift any of your body weight in any capacity. And then the argument on like is like, well, which is better, which is healthier, all that stuff starts to like come in, and you have people throwing rocks left and right. But it's just
Yeah. And
funny, like
even
there's
as,
I don't know how you could ever bring everyone to understand one another.
yeah. And even as CrossFit evolves, people specializing in CrossFit, like, here's what CrossFit has been testing across these past 5 years. I need to be good at these specific ways, and the way that they test them is
Yeah.
also a way that people specialize. I mean, once they change up a standard, you see that some people fall apart because they've been so used to one standard that if it gets changed, that they're like, oh, I've only been practicing it this way. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Handstand
all those
push-ups,
sports
great
have the same
example in the
thing.
open,
Yeah,
year to
exactly.
year, changing a standard. And it's funny you bring that up. Within our so if you got specialist generalist, then if we just come back over here to the generalist and CrossFit, within our own thing, we also have disconnect on
Yeah,
sport and methodology and what CrossFit is actually supposed to be,
yeah,
and how it should be implemented. And so we do have these two things, so much so that some people are like, sell off the sport aspect of it. Like that's a whole nother thing. Over there, you can drink Coca-Cola and Monster Energy
mhm,
drink, but over here, we're just trying to be generally fit for the everyday person and have healthier, longer lives. And that
yeah,
might go into sport, or it might be you're so generally fit, you might go do that rowing competition for fun, and you know how to row. You're not going to
yeah,
win, Or you might go hiking on the next weekend and then do a high rocks the weekend after that, and you can do more things.
Yeah.
At this point, I'd rather be the generalist and have more experiences and do more things. I don't know how. What about you? What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the reason that I did the triathlon as well, of like like what is a generalist in the world, you know? Like
Yeah,
I wanted to be able to also go out on a lake on a friend's boat, like even cliff diving, which I think is scary and ridiculous.
oh my
But
goodness.
like I want to be able to at least go, if I was to jump in, I don't have to worry about treading water after or like panicking and trying to find the edge as soon as I can. Like little things like that, or even the like going on a bike ride. Like I can ride a bike, but like what if we get a slight incline? Now what do I do? Am I gonna get left behind? Like, yeah, it's all what you run into or what you want to run into. Like if you have friends who do all these things, you just want to be able to do things with your friends or your family for as long as possible. Um, so the general is somewhat subjective as well, and like what
Yeah.
that means. Like obviously overall fitness, like it will translate, but knowing certain skills as well will also bring you far.
And I think where we win the argument, not to start an argument, but like if CrossFit was going to win the argument, I think it goes towards the methodology and the training system and the prescription of the training system. Because in the prescription of the training system, it says learn and play new sports. So any like specialist, that maybe dislikes CrossFit, your sport is actually in the prescription. It's just limited to 100 words. In
Yeah.
that learn and play new sports, you could insert anything. You can insert high rocks, you can insert triathlons, Ironmans, soccer, football, basketball, in all their iterations too, because you've got local pickup games. You could actually get into a league and take that. You could take any of them to the extreme. But what CrossFit's also saying is like, hey, you know, mind what you eat too, because maybe you're someone who's a pickup basketball person in a league and everything, and it's beers and wings every night. And you're like, no,
Yeah.
no, but I have the better thing on what I'm doing. It's like, well, do you? Like, and also you can use CrossFit and you're almost guaranteed to get better if you follow the prescription at any of the other specialized things by just being more well-rounded. Or if you have no pull-ups, no push-ups, you get those and you're eating better. You're telling me that's not gonna make you better at other things, like it might be maybe basketball. It's not going to increase your skills because you actually have to practice basketball, but you're a fitter, more well-rounded person. Or if someone bumps into you and you fall down, you don't break anything or sprain anything.
Yeah. Yep.
Because you squat and do box jumps and impact things, your joints and everything are better. So it's just I don't know. It's hard to have people like see that, because they're
Right.
entrenched
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
they think is right. But I don't know. I think the CrossFit methodology over all of it kind of comes out on top because it's all in the prescription. And then you can argue it's
Hmm.
all CrossFit.
Right. Yeah.
Learn and play new sports. So that's what you're doing. By you doing the triathlon and stuff like that, you're technically doing CrossFit because even though you're not doing, I mean, you still did classes here and there and other things, but you're like, let me focus on the learn and play new sports part of it. You learned new skills. That's
Yeah.
now that makes actually makes you even a better CrossFitter now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool stuff to think about. But back to the WFP. Uh, any big highlights? The only big highlight I know of is that Pat Vellner may have gotten crushed by one of those pig things, and I don't know if that's entirely true. I saw a photo of him under one. Something happened.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. I haven't checked in. Um, it's themed like an Achilles tear. Um,
Mhm.
and I'm not sure if that was while he was trying to flip it, and that's why
Got it.
he ended up under it, where it's like because I mean that's a lot of you're driving a lot to like get that
Yeah.
initial turn. So I think maybe that's what happened is that he tore during see Achilles tear. That's my number one fear. And I mean, it can happen like that. It can happen when you're just walking and turning or something. But I think that's what it was. I think his Achilles tore, and then midway he fell down, and then the sled then came down on top of him.
Gosh. That's like a
He
500
did.
pound sled, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. He did PR his bench press after that though, so that's cool.
Hey, all right. See, hey, don't
Yeah,
need that Achilles to bench press. He might be doing a
yeah.
lot of bench press coming up here.
He was doing it in his boot. Yeah,
That is cool. That all right. So going back to our kind of previous conversation with like one cool thing I think about the sport is when athletes do that, where they kind of show the community you can still work out in these kind of unideal circumstances or if you get hurt. So him being there in a boot and doing the bench press and still trying and whatnot, I think it's a good thing for coaches and for athletes to see versus like, oh, you blew out your Achilles. Looks like you can't work out for 6 months. Let that
right.
heal and do
Yeah,
nothing. It's like, no, come to the gym. Your coach will work with you and give you exercises to work around this while it heals. I think that's a good thing. That's something I think that the broadcast teams should like harp on. Like, look at
yeah.
this. Here's a perfect example that like CrossFit will always work. You can still have things to do. Talk to your coach. I don't know if they did that, but I think they should bring attention in those
Mm.
situations.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
Is
But they
is
did
he
do
going
a
to finish it?
combine. No, no.
Okay,
They did do a
understand.
combine for event one, mini combine. So they
Hmm.
did the 40-yard dash. They did the 15-yard drill, and then they did the broad jump.
Nice.
So the 15-yard one is the three cones in one line. You start in the middle, you run to one end, you run to the middle again, run back to the other end, and then sprint all the way through, I believe is what it is. Um, yeah, I think that's what it is. It might be just middle to end to the other end, actually.
Yeah,
Um,
like I think it's either middle to one end, let's say to the right, run all the way through the left, or it's got to be middle to the right, to the left, and run all the way back through.
yeah, I can't fully
Something like that.
remember, but it's one of those. But that was fun to see also. One because again, I think why we had the idea to do it a couple years ago is just because like that's a great test, and it's not ways that again in the way of the like learn new sports and all of that as well. It's not something that we typically get to do in classes, even that like rotation and in those type of movements. So it's fun to get people to test it and see like at our base levels what are we able to accomplish, and then when you actually look at the skill and strategy for these different things, what can you hit that way,
Yeah.
because these
I,
are
I
very
mean,
short tests.
I don't want to say that they were doing a little Google, a little social media searching, and they happened upon Albany CrossFit's combine that we did a couple of years ago. Like we've done combines. Like that's kind of been a thing our gym has done periodically over the decades. And it just makes sense to do, and I think that CrossFit themselves should do it. And I think a lot of people have said that recently too. The
Yeah,
Because like how cool would that be if you see someone getting close to what people in the actual combine are doing? Imagine that someone shows up like I imagine like maybe like a gi. I don't know. I just maybe like a gi showing up to the games, doing the combine, doing really really well, and then someone's like, "You want to try out for this NFL team?" And like
yeah,
that, how cool would that be to have someone go? Because it's cool that Tyson Bajan is like he was like born in the community and he is now in the NFL. How cool would
yeah,
that be if one of the games athletes was like scouted and invited and made it on a team? Like what a testament to CrossFit at that point, right?
yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I mean, we've seen it go the opposite way, where like big college stars. I mean, Marquand Jones was like a legitimate D1 football player who came over and started doing CrossFit. Obviously, Jason Hopper as well played in college and came over. So we see it the opposite way, but it would be cool
Yeah.
to be like, I've just been doing CrossFit for most of my life and never really put on the pads, or like I did a little bit in high school and then I became more into fitness and then I finally made it to the NFL or something like that.
Yeah. And then they see you do one of those tests and they're like, "Who is this guy? He can run. He's looks
Yeah.
athletic. Let's at least like maybe we can just yeah, and if you're athletic enough and stuff like I know it's not easy, but like you might be able to catch a ball too, like let's find out."
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Wasn't Neil Maddox in the NFL? This is like a long time ago, old school
Yeah.
CrossFitter.
I know the name, but I'm even trying to think of what they look
Which,
like.
which team?
Not
Neil
completely sure.
Maddox CrossFit. Nope. I love how Google's like crossword. No. Neil Maddox, NFL. Neil Maddox was in college. He became an NFL player, and he became not saying the team.
Hmm.
Became an NFL player and training coach. During his time in the NFL, he suffered from numerous injuries. Although the NFL was his ultimate dream, the injuries forced him to abandon it, and he started a new chapter with CrossFit. Hey, all right. I don't know what team he was on,
Hmm.
but either way, he was in the NFL. Why wouldn't you like if you're writing this article? Why wouldn't you at any point just be like he was on the Dolphins?
Yeah, maybe he got bounced around because of the injuries or something.
Yeah, they're like we couldn't find it out either, so we'll just
Yeah.
okay. All right. Well, that's they just keep saying the NFL, but not. That bothers me. Anyways, so yeah, what does it ends today, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This tour stop, and then they have the finals in Copenhagen towards the end of December.
Okay, end of the year again. I the thing that's unique about WFP is even though people will win these individual competitions, it's the series. So it's like
Yep.
like when people critique the games, they're like, well, this is the whole test. Versus something I learned recently was that the WFP, each of those is only part of the overall test. And like,
Yeah.
yes, you want to go and take all of the pieces of it across the year, but it's kind of hard to judge the programming and other things until you see the whole year, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I have seen that. It's interesting because they have like cut lines where obviously if you want to win, you have to go to all three. But towards the 20 athletes from like 20 to 30, you can miss a tour stop. So let's say you just finished the games and you had a small injury, you can take this tour off and maybe you drop a little bit because other people are gaining points. But if you come back for the final and you do well enough, you can get yourself back in that like 20 to 30 pro spot. And then like that's where the payouts and things come from as well. But I've also seen people do the opposite, kind of like with Pat Vellner, like going into the next event, even though he was hurt. I've seen people go to a full on tour stop with like, oh, I'm recovering an elbow thing. So I'm not going to crush these events here. I'm going to do what I can just to add in some points so that at the end of the season, when I'm healthier and all of these things, overall my points total will be higher than if I fully skipped this tour
Mm,
stop. Um, but yeah, it does make it interesting because some people will crush a specific tour stop because maybe that programming is perfect for them, and then just do okay on the next ones. which is it's interesting. Like we've seen it with all the different pieces of CrossFit, where the open, Colton Mertens is crushing the open, and then in semifinals he's having a little bit of a tougher time, and then at the games he's doing well in these certain things. So I mean, the programming is always going to be, it's always going to look like it's geared towards a specific
Yeah.
person or favor certain things. So I guess, yeah, if you miss out on one, that might have been your one where, it's just a piece, I guess. But yeah,
It kind of makes you think too with programming, because a lot of people, I mean, and we've looked at it too, where we're like, all right, look at this program. What if this was in the open? What if this was different?
yeah,
At what point are we going to maybe just like get over critiquing the programming as much and in depth as we are now? Like the games has had 20 years, so that's 20 opens, or not exactly 20 opens, but we've had a lot of opens, quarterfinals, semifinals, regionals. We've had 20 games. Now you have all these other types of tests out there and competitions. And at some point, it's like I feel like right now in the last like 5 years, we've gone through like a novelty phase where it's like we got to keep it exciting. We've got to do this. It's
yeah,
keep getting bigger and bigger. At some point, that bubble's going to burst, and it's like we've done it all, or it just can't get any crazier or bigger. It has to go back down to its roots a little bit. And also, all the ideas have, even though it's supposed to be the hopper, it could be any order of things. You're going to run out of
yeah,
ideas and it's going to start to get redundant. And now, if I look at the programming between the games, WFP, this it's like it's all the same, like at this
yeah.
point. So, at what point is it just kind of like, the programming is what it is, and it's never going to be perfect, and it almost can't be.
I I genuinely I think that that's the best thing. And I think with all of these different events, it's becoming easier to just go, then choose another one. I
Yeah,
think that's really what it's going to be. Because a lot of these, honest, if you've been looking, some of the payouts for these other events are so high right now that I would just go like, ooh, I know the acclaim is like being the CrossFit champion, but I can just go to this place, win a couple of these, and that's like almost guaranteed. Like I know that. I think I think Athex does individual and teams, and I think Laura Horvath and Chandler Smith went as a team to like some finals or something, and I think they won every single piece of it. And it's like the
yeah,
payout that they get for that is like you might not need to do anything else. And I think the same thing with the programming, where it's like if you're going to go someplace and complain, there's going to be something else for you. Like you want something that's like 5 tests, you know what they're going to be, go to Athex. You want something where it's just like, I want to see how many reps I can do, go to Xenon, go to High Rocks if you want more long-term endurance. Or, you know, maybe CrossFit just picks a lane of like, here's how our programming's going to look like. And then whoever wants to do it can do that. But yeah, maybe that's where it's going to end up, where each thing
yeah,
just tests different ways.
yeah. Like with the programming, like it's fun to talk about the programming and critique it is content and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But at a certain point, really all it is anymore is really you're not saying what the right answer was. You're just saying what you would have done. And you're
yeah,
also
yeah,
saying what you would have done after you've seen the draft of what has been completed, which of course now it's easier. It's kind of like what like with Game of Thrones, right? Everyone has an opinion on how the story should end and all that stuff. He's never going to finish it,
yeah,
as well. But it's like you didn't have to do the work to bring it up to this point where you would have an opinion on how it should end. And you might not even have that ability. You probably don't. So it's like you should write your own story from scratch and then figure out how that one's going to end, and then you're like, whoa, this is really hard. So it's like I don't know. I don't know. Is that a good example of like with the
no,
programming? It's
yeah,
like you're
that's
seeing the finished
essentially.
product and you're just saying what you would have done. And if you had to create one from scratch, that'd be a different. Has anyone done that yet? Like, has anyone? who's like, let's say, critique the games, put out like, this is our games from start to finish, how we would have programmed the whole season, and this is why it would have been better a test.
Yeah, I'm sure that you could pull it together. I mean, people have done their, I think, have done that for each stage of like, here's how I would have done it. But yeah, but I think even with these new events, all it shows is that it's hard
Yeah,
for every event, every time to have things covered. I mean, we do it when we look at cap and we're like, man, that's a lot of hinging that we've been doing for the past few. Like, they love a hinge right now. Or like the wall ball thing where it's like, we haven't touched a wall ball. And, but it's like you're rotating through things and you're like, we have such a, the Rolodex is so deep of what we could choose that it's things might go missing or things might come up multiple times because there are, you can hinge in so many different movements. Like, all right, dumbbell snatch and then burpees, and people are like, isn't that basically the same movement? And you're like, I guess kind of, like, you do have to bend for both. Then you do toes to bar and you're like, so we're bending again. There's always going to be complaints. So yeah.
yeah, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like, I mean, I'll watch those programming shows to see what they're talking about. It's just I would also like to see the other way of like maybe like in the fall or the winter before it all starts. Hey, here's what we think the ideal would be from start to finish. So I think that'd be a
Right.
really interesting conversation on how it should go. And yeah, there's so many competitions now. Things are going to overlap. They are like, yeah, someone's going to come up with an awesome idea, and people are going to be like, "That, oh, man, that should be at the games," like. But it's like it's just different people. They just had different idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Who's on track? Do you know to win this particular event?
This specific tour stop, for the women, it looks like Emma Tall. She's
Okay.
been crushing it. I think
Was
she
she at the
got
games this
third
year?
last year. No, she didn't do the games, but she'll be
Okay.
at Rogue as well in the next couple weeks.
Forgot about Rogue.
But yeah, yeah. So she's been crushing it. I think she was injured last year, so towards the end she had like a big comeback. But yeah, she's won like a few events already at this
Hmm,
tour stop. So, and then for the men, I think James Sprague again is on top currently.
nice. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot like you said. If you're the fittest in the world and you're gonna win and stuff, all right, let me spend like a couple grand or something like that to go travel to Copenhagen and have my Airbnb and all that stuff, and but then I'm gonna win 30 grand, or something like that.
Yep.
So it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I wish I had a talent like that where I could just go and use my body for a weekend and make that kind of a money, like I think the only options for me would be illegal to use my body to get some kind of payday like that in a
Yeah.
weekend,
Yeah.
you know. So it's like imagine that, and it's kind of crazy. Some of those athletes, they're they're making more money than some people are making in a year in like
For
all
sure.
of their stuff combined for sure, and then possibly at one competition. It's like the games. Like how much is the payout of the games? Is like 300 grand for the
I
winner,
think
right?
so. Yeah. Yep.
That's boy, that might be for some people that's 10 years of
Yeah.
work and whatnot. And that's why maybe I mean I like stay humble games people. Stay humble because you don't know when you're gonna be back into not making that kind of money. And also
Yep.
what you're doing is insane, like so I don't know if I was a games athlete winning, when I'd complain about nothing. I would just be like, yeah, this is great. Oh, it's going to cost this much to go to that. I wouldn't be complaining about travel because sometimes I've seen them like complain about travel and how hard all that stuff is. It's like, dude, you don't even book the flights. Like your handler now books the flight.
Yeah.
I just I
Yeah.
I don't want to see any of these people just just go down the path of being like not remembering where they came from.
Yeah. Or even like the Dubai one, where like people would go to Dubai for that fitness thing.
Oh,
And it would
wait,
be
you
like
broke
one
up. You're
event
breaking up
win,
a little bit.
Dubai. Do you remember when the Dubai was big?
Yeah, you sound like a robot right now. I don't know what happened to your mic.
All right. Forget it.
Maybe
Forget it.
no. Maybe shut it off and turn it back on or something.
Is this better?
No.
Moving on. Moving on. ADK Regional.
Wait, hold on. All right, let's do a test here. I'm gonna change my audio from these mini buds. Say something now.
Is it better now?
It is. And I don't know if, but I'm still hearing you in the one earbud. So I don't know if it's my earbuds. I'll have to come back and like re-listen to this and
Okay.
like, is it just the connection here or is it actually you? I don't know.
Hmm.
Okay, sorry. Rewind. What was that last thing you said?
No, it was just like when people would go to Dubai and like every event win was like 50K or something.
Yeah,
In exaggeration, I think. Maybe, or maybe not. They were getting a lot of money for
I wouldn't
event
be
wins there.
surprised.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot, you know. Like one example, and I don't think this will ever happen in our space. Like I really enjoyed Tom Segura's comedy and whatnot, but he's changed a lot in recent years as he like got rich and everything, and he's like not the same guy anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think that. Do you think that would ever happen? Like just with like gym culture and just the way workouts humble you and stuff. I don't think that, and also the community aspect. I don't think it would be too tolerated well in the community if people all of a sudden got like too high on their own supply.
I think it manifests differently. Where I mean, like, your home gym gets upgraded, your home gets upgraded, the cars you drive,
Hmm.
your recovery, like you're walking around in these suits that are like, I don't know, metabolize things or whatever. Like I'm sure it shows up in like weird things like that, not as
Yeah,
like, out there.
yeah, yeah. Hey, time will tell. Time will tell. As
Yeah.
I think I don't even know. I don't know if more money is going to come into the space at that high level. I mean, there is a lot of work being done to build up all these sporting things to get to big places. So who knows what it looks like in 10 years and how that's going. So I guess time will tell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. Yes. So moving on to the ADK Series 1 weightlifting meet that happened last weekend, right? Was that last weekend? Is that what we did
Yep.
last weekend? It's all blur now on what weekends things are being done. But we had two people from the team compete, Chris and Schaff, and they both did awesome. Chris, he took third overall because at the ADK series meets that Vitas weightlifting runs, it's not medals per weight class and age group. It's just overall best man or best woman by Sinclair. Chris made 4 lifts out of 6, snatched 74 kilos, clean and jerked 102, going 3 for 3 on the clean and jerk, totaling 176 for that third place spot. And this is also his first time in the new, as of August 31st or August 1st, 85 kilo weight class. So he did really good.
Nice.
He missed his last 2 snatches, so of course we had to navigate the emotional trauma of multiple snatch misses, but we did it. And then for Schaff, he went 5 out of 6, made all 3 snatches, ending at 105, made the first 2 clean jerks, ending at 132. We just missed that 137 at the end there. Total 237, and he took first place. And he's been winning these ADK series meets. I think he's been on the podium the last 3 that we've done. He's been in the top spot. And I got to confirm with Sam, but I do believe he won the ADK, the road to region or road to states or road to
Mm.
regionals that we do in our region. He's the only one who's done all of the meets, including the
Yeah.
regional. posting a total and Sinclairing and also winning those series meets. So that'll come out soon once I confirm, but it's very possible that he won that too. That's
Nice.
cool.
Yeah, very nice.
So great lifting overall by them. You weren't able to make it, but you saw the videos. Anything stick out to you on what you heard, what you saw?
No, I guess it's more of a question like how many people were in the men's session and how did that kind of impact them?
Hmm. I think there were 8 overall. It was small. I think there were only 5 women and let's just say 7 to 9 men. And maybe more closer to the 7 or 8 range, number. So not a lot of people. The timing worked out really well. It was exactly the same for both sessions, which was nice.
Mm,
Schaff just being at the end instead of like, remember those days when like you guys would like snatch early, clean and jerk later,
yeah,
in those groups. So that was pretty consistent and that made it easier. And with it being the same guys each time, the counting was super easy. It's like, all right, well, they're
mm,
going to do all their lifts. So really, it was just focus on Chris first, get him ready, go do those, and then Schaff would just have a warm up or two while Chris was going.
got it.
Schaff was practicing longer breaks between things, like just longer rest periods.
Yeah,
And with the bar that we had, it had a center knurl, so that was kind of ripping up his neck a little bit. That was something
yeah,
that we're not used to.
interesting. Yeah, yeah. And what was because I believe the last ADK series, it was trying to get everyone to go like 6 for 6.
Yes. Yep. That was the goal at that one. This one was pretty much the same. This is a weird time. This is
Yeah,
always just going to be a weird time for our team. Just if states, imagine if states was like in April or March. That
yeah,
would, but like having it at the end of September doesn't bode well for our team, especially when people are choosing to go away on vacation, during August and July, and we just lose time, and then we all of a sudden have to start building up in a couple weeks in September. So
mm,
historically, we've had rocky performances at states, not for everybody, but it's just I just think it's the time of the year and what's going on around that.
yeah, yeah. Mm,
But yeah, they did great. We went in there with purposely lower numbers and like let's just make lifts. That's been the thing with these meets is just let's make lifts. We clearly don't have the time and the lifts under our belt to
right.
try to go anything crazier. And it's not like we're trying to qualify for things where it would be okay if, all right, it ended up 2 out of 6 because we were really going for it, but we made it or we didn't. These, I don't think that's really appropriate anymore unless we were actually trying to win and we were in a battle or trying to qualify or break some
Yeah,
record.
yeah,
Really just needs to be the limited opportunities we have on the platform is make as many lifts as possible. Plus, how many times does everyone want to pay the entry fee for these meets and not be making lifts? Like, come on,
right.
like it's not something that's we're always thinking about, and like you can't always think about it that way. But once it's happened X amount of times, it's like we need to rein this back in, and that's why we did
Yeah.
that starting last year. I'm like, we're going 6 for 6, make it crazy light. And even then,
Mm,
when you remember when we did do that, it wasn't guaranteed we were going to go 6 for 6.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
So I am happy that we went 4 out of 6, 5 out of 6. That's great. I think we learned good data going into states on where we're at now. I think it's more along the lines of how much improvement can we realistically make in the 5, 6 weeks before states to see those numbers really go up.
Right. Yeah.
My mind is like we're kind of already like this is where we at. We just have to like maintain this and sharpen some edges and maybe we can squeak out a couple extra kilos. But like I don't know if it's realistic. Just to use it as an example, I don't know if it's realistic for Schaff to be in the mid to high 40s on the clean jerk.
Yep. Yeah.
We just have to think about like how realistic is that in 4 weeks? Are you gonna be ready in 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks? I don't know, you know. Could be. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I guess that's also something that I'm trying to figure out of yeah, is timing really. I think the same thing with my triathlon where I was doing some sessions and as I got closer, I was like, is this training in the way of getting me better or is it just training in the way of used to this type of stimulus? So a lot
Yeah.
of like my longer things were just purely like in the race, you'll be on the bike for, you know, just under 2 hours or an hour and a half. So we just need to go do this. This isn't the time for like interval, threshold, whatever, or like really trying to push. I'm definitely not working on the speed of my swim right now. I'm trying to see how long I can swim. And then running, that's a little bit different because, I've been working on running I would say the most in terms of like, and I have the most knowledge on like how to get faster just on running. But that was similar where it was like, I'm just running 3 miles. I don't need to do anything crazy. I just need to like know how that feels and where exactly my push kind of limit is for when I get to the race. And I was thinking about that coming back to barbell club as well, where I'm like, I don't think I'm adding kilos to my total here. I think I'm figuring out how I feel snatching these type of numbers when I get there. And then
Yeah.
how does everything feel? And like, how can I make it feel the best without like a panic or being like, ooh, I did something weird and that felt harder than it should have.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's why we're kind of approaching the training right now. It's like, do we have time to run a squat cycle that will increase leg strength? Do
Yeah.
we have time to increase upper body strength for the jerk right now? We did so much work earlier in the year. I think right now, with the limited time we have, we got to just try to maintain. And I know right now I haven't been putting a lot of squat stuff in there. It will come back a little bit, but it's like, and we need to move those numbers up because those help us move our lifting numbers up with the snatch and a clean and jerk. So
Yeah.
right now, the way I'm approaching it is volume of lifts. We have to get really comfortable snatching and clean jerking. We have to snatch and clean jerk in uncomfortable situations with limited rest when we're tired, because that could be definitely a reality at states. And so at least just being conditioned to go out there and like, oh crap, you got 20 seconds, do it. Like just literally do it. Like you don't
Yeah.
have time for your whole setup. You just have to do it and go into that mode. And then just working with the current strength roof that we have, which goes into having realistic expectations for states, and he might be listening to this. And I know, Alex, the goal is to get him to a 150 clean and jerk. I don't know if that's there right now for states. If states was this coming weekend or the weekend after that or the weekend after that, I kind of feel like if you look at Chris and Schaff's ADK results, that's pretty much the ballpark that they're in. You'll see a slight variance up or down on the kilos depending on the day because of sleep, food, stress around it,
Yeah.
the atmosphere of the competition and the timing during the competition. But I think where we're at right now is where we're at. That's just
Yep.
my honest assessment. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think, yeah, because really my introduction to training again was watching the videos from the meet. And then I think I was in training the next day. So I hadn't even been seeing everyone train for, a month and a half. So I was definitely looking at the numbers and thinking, okay, if those are the numbers that we're hitting now, then yeah, those are pretty much going to be the numbers for states. Like you said, I mean, if we're not like squatting and like pushing certain things, like there is no real time to like go, I'm getting stronger right now. Like we've
Yeah.
built. And I feel like that's always like the summer training block is just like try not to degrade as much as possible. And I think that's for everyone. And like you said, like a lot of people get injured before states and things like that because they're just, you work so hard in the beginning of the year to kind of build up so that as you train throughout the summer, and summer is just also summer, the way that you live and everything, like you're just trying not to lose as much as possible
Yeah.
as you go into states. Yeah.
That's a good point you bring up because we do have so many people who end up dropping out of states ultimately. And especially the big guys, the 95s, the 110s, 110 pluses. Last year we had disappearing weight classes because right before, the 2 weeks before the event, they were just dropping out, dropping out. I'm like, what weight class is this guy in? 110. What weight class? 94. Like they were just all those
Yeah.
big guys. And I think it's because they probably do a good job all year building up. Then we get this summer lull and people go on vacation and take time off. And then they come back and they start to push it too hard to make up all
Yeah.
that. And then you tweak an elbow, you tweak this. And it's like, yeah, I'm sorry. Had you done the meet in May, you were ready for 160 then. You're not now. You might be able to get under it, but that thing might be sloppy and you're just not
Yeah.
ready and conditioned for it. Because as we go through the weight blocks, there's just a different demand that you need, another level of what your body can handle and what your body can do. So 150 to 160, 160 to 170, definitely 170 to one. Like there's all these blocks for the clean jerk. And I think people don't take a step back and be like, I took 3 weeks off in July.
Yeah.
I lost so much, but I'm still trying to hit those upper numbers. And I'm gonna have to take the hit at states.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's yeah, it's just a reality of it. So we just need to make smart decisions on being like what is realistic. I think when you're coaching, you know, the you have to like sometimes it's like the athletes will be like, no, I feel ready for it. Let's go up to this and whatnot. And then you just gotta be like, oh, you
Yeah.
know, like all right, like hit all right, you hit 130, 133, we're going 136. We don't got 140. And
Hmm.
actually it's the Hail Mary thing. We don't need to be doing the Hail Mary thing. We need to be leaving this meet with a total and intact and not hurt. That's what we need to be doing.
Yeah. 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 And I think enough of us have also, we have enough time with the sport under our belt where it's like, there are no like newbie gains or like weird things that can happen where it's just like, if we just get our technique right on this next one, it's like, no, like we understand how our bodies are going to move past a certain point. And like, yeah, those huge jumps are like for new people, or it's like you might have a day today where it clicks and then you get it.
Yeah.
But like for me to like, if I was to go for like 100, it's like, all right, I haven't been getting it. So what makes us think that today, with
Yeah.
the way that these have been looking, that I'm gonna figure it out today? Um, yeah, yeah, that
And
makes
just
sense.
looking at where we're at in the competition, like Alex is in a unique situation where it's like, oh, you're on the podium, and the
Hmm.
next gap above that is too far of a chasm for us to fill. That person needs to make their lifts, but more importantly, you need to make your lifts just in case they don't. That's also another part of the sport. And then the field is so stacked in everyone else's weight class where it's like we're out of medal contention. We're playing the game of making lifts to see where we can place, and then it's where what happens with other people.
Yeah,
So we don't need to make Hail Mary things. We don't need to go crazy. We just need to make lifts and have a good time, and enjoy it and not put ourselves in situations where it's like, no, there shouldn't have been a situation where you would potentially bomb out. We should just
yeah.
be making lifts and having a good time.
And I think specifically in that instance where it's like, all right, we have enough people for a podium. We got the three, we got the two, whatever. It feels so much more important to make as many of your lifts as possible, because coming from experience, sometimes it feels like I was just given this place.
Yeah.
So the only way that I can feel like I've won something is to like go out there and make as many lifts as possible. Like going out and being like, whew, I barely made this podium, which I would have made anyway, just because like we made, like, how many times have we gone and made 2 lifts and been
Many.
like, I made 1 snatch and I made 1 clean and jerk. If I didn't, this podium that I feel like I was just kind of given, I would not have got. So I
Yeah.
think it's important to go out there and just, especially in those scenarios, to pick numbers that make sense, that are still like, you're still going to go out there and have to fight for them. Like you can't just sleep through them, but
Oh
do
yeah.
things that are like at the end, you're like, but I did make all my lifts, or I did make 5 out of 6. I think those
Yeah. And
feel really good.
States is not an easy environment like that. Those competition stages, I've been told by people are intimidating, you know,
Yeah.
which I didn't really feel that when I went out to lift on them. It's more of a I'm just like they look really nice. I'm so glad they look nice,
Mm.
like because I'm just like interested in the presentation of it because I'm running it. But like I can definitely see how it would be super scary for some people who are on their
Yeah.
first bunch of meets, or that normally you're lifting in a gym and now we're in this ballroom. And that warm-up room is also a different animal. It's so
Yeah.
busy, it's so packed. You have to be paying attention. If you don't, you might be missing things. So it's just being in the environment is going to change things, so even
Yeah.
those easy, lifts that you think might be easy or too light or something, when you get in that environment they may be just right and you're going to have to fight, and you should fight to make them. And I'm glad that on our team, maybe there might be some who no one's really concerned about, like, well, what's everyone going to think if this is the weight I'm lifting. It's like no
Mm.
one cares, you know
Yeah.
like I mean, I've been to so many meets officiating where, like, oh, that's just the weight that guy's doing. Like, and he may be the biggest jacked looking guy that you've ever seen, and he's about to snatch 40. It's like, good for him. That's the weight that he needed at this meet at this time. Like, I've never once thought like that's all that guy's lifting. He should be lifting so much more. It's like
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
his story. Like he may have just started and this is his first meet.
Hmm.
And if this is his first meet and he just started like a month ago, good on him for having the guts to come out here to States and do it right now.
Right.
So people don't care. We care, so we put that care on other people.
Yeah. 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 It's interesting because, like, going out there, you feel like everyone knows.
Yeah.
But when you're out there, like sitting down at a random session and someone comes out and you're like, oh, interesting. You might not even know, like, were these last 2 people in the same weight class? Like, because everyone kind of, especially the way that the sessions go, like sometimes everyone just looks the same, but you're like,
Yeah.
there's probably like 3 different weight classes here. And I can't tell because weightlifters all have like really different body types as well. That you're like, I don't know, everyone could be in the same weight class. That one guy could be in a weight class way below everyone. Everyone's just lifting whatever they're lifting.
Well, that's like whenever I was out there in the 85 kilo class before it went away the first time and now it's back, like I would weigh in at 81 or 83, but like if you look, like I look small, so you're like he must be with the 77s, you know.
Mm,
But also there's been times where I've missed that 85 and I was a really light 94 also lifting with them. So you see me next to these giants, right? Like think of like Andrew Hagar from Sona weightlifting, right? Like I'd be with guys that are that tall and that big and they might be 94s and you're like, "Wait, he's a 94 too?" So it's like, yeah, you just don't know. I'm just like I just go wide, not tall and compact,
mm,
and all of my
yeah,
weight is just densely, concentrated in a couple areas. But it's
right.
just a thing, a weird thing on the outside looking in. You really don't know. And these
Yeah.
days, you might go out there and you're like, all these people looking at me. No, they're all on their phone. they're not like the only people that are looking at you are the three refs, and hopefully one of them isn't on their phone too,
Right.
and
Yeah.
the speaker and the loaders. It's just a different thing now. They're on their phone because they're just waiting for the person they came to watch come
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. Definitely.
I know when I'm in the crowd, I literally think nothing. Like I'm like, oh wow, all right, they're going for a PR or something. But otherwise, it's just like you just like don't even see the lifting, and then it's like, oh, all right, there's someone that I know coming out.
Right. Yeah.
Like if I'm in the crowd and one of Frank's people come out that I know, I'm like, oh, there's Izzy or Iggy. There's
Hmm.
Iggy. Oh, all right, let me watch this lift. Then I'm right back on my phone, and I'm like, the other people are
Yep.
coming out. I'm like, oh, this is how it is these days.
Definitely.
So, unless something changes in the next 24 hours, you're not going to be lifting at States. How do you feel about this?
Mm.
How is it? Is it a relief? Is there still a thing in the back of your head? You're like, I can click that registration button right now.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I always do this, but I mean, listen, when I get there to like help, I'm going to be moving around those bars because that's just what I do. And then I'm going to be like, man, I wonder this bar feels good in my hand today. I wonder what I could have done. But
Just
at the
start
same
maxing
time,
out.
like I'm even looking at that weekend coming up, and I already have something Friday that I have to be in town for Friday night. So, that already like throws off like, oh, what if I had to cut weight? What if I want to get good sleep leading up? Like I already know that can't happen. And
Yeah,
then just the way that I've been feeling this week, not even like weak. Like in fact, I'm actually very surprised at like strength wise how I feel, but just like, oh, this takes time to like really feel ready to
yeah,
lift again. Um, so yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be the best choice. And then, yeah, give myself a while. Cause I mean, after states passes, it'll be over a year since I've competed because I didn't do the regional as well because I was gone. So yeah,
you were in
that's
India.
really
Were
the
you in India?
no, I did states last year for the regional, our ADK regional. I was on the bachelor trip,
Oh, that's right.
and
Got it.
then ADK series is the week after my triathlon. So a no. The wedding was during Frank's meet, so I've
Oh
had no
yeah,
chance to really compete this past year. So that'll be the only thing of like, wow, it's been a while since I've competed in weightlifting. But I think
yeah,
overall best choice for me to like enjoy getting back to training.
yeah, yeah. It's like, and I feel it too. From the coaching side of things, it's like, all right, let's get Miguel in there. We'll just purposely go really light and we'll make a total and all that stuff. But then like if that's not ultimately what you want and it's adding all this stress and maybe it does put us in a situation where something, wonky happens, it's like, well, why be miserable during it? Like it
Right.
should be
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to be here. I feel prepared to be here. I feel good about being here. It's like why do it? And I think as a team, we've gotten better about not doing that. I feel like we've done it in
Yeah.
the past where it's like, you really should have withdrew, or we shouldn't have signed up for this meet if you didn't think that this was going to work. And we tried to soldier on, because our not for nothing, our team's not we're not soft, but
Yeah.
it's
Well, that was it too, where we were like, well, we can go light at states, and then I was like, what would I accept as light? Because I'm like, I'm not snatching 80 on that platform, so it's at least we're starting at 85, and then from there, I'm gonna want to go 88. So either way, we're touching the numbers that I'm gonna want to
yeah.
max out with anyway. And then I was like, in clean and jerk, again, I'm starting at least 108. So I was like, yeah, we're entering the stage of I might miss still. So it's better that we just
And,
don't do it.
yeah, and imagine the frustration of like you don't feel prepared. You're not maybe feeling as confident, although you can draw on past experiences. We're going for these weights. and then you bomb out,
Right.
and it's like, and you're one that I think if you bomb out on the snatch, we're probably not doing clean and jerk
Yeah.
potentially. and
or
and if you do
it's
come
like
back and you bomb out on
then
the
it's
clean and jerk,
nonsense. Yeah.
yeah,
Because if I bomb out on the snatch, I'm opening at 120 for the clean and jerk, which then is like,
yeah,
what are we doing?
yeah. What are we doing? Is that good for you? And then just the whole thing of it. And so it's like, okay, what's best for you? What's best for the team too? Like, all right, if so this opens you up to be able to coach Chris Schaff and Alex. And that makes it a better experience because like it's not that I can't coach them, it's just that at any point, because I'm bearing the ultimate responsibility of the competition to give you guys a place to do this. I might have to step away or have some nonsense come up where I
Yeah.
have to be pulled away or distracted, and be like, crap, you got to go now. We missed that. I didn't know that guy went. Or God forbid, you guys are split on platforms again,
Yeah.
which is just a nightmare. Because that will happen because just the way it all falls on
Yeah.
getting the three of you. Chris will be fine because he's the only master,
Yeah.
but the you, Shaf, and Alex being on the same platform for our lone open session is probably not possible,
Yeah.
unless I made it possible, and then that's a whole ethics thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's I think it's going to work out nicely, So going into that, what you're putting your coaching hat on, does that make you look at everyone else now in training and being like, you got to step it up, or you got to change that? Does that change your perspective of the rest of the team that is competing in training? And then going into states, how does that kind of change things for you too?
Yeah. I've already been doing, like I said, just because I haven't had the like full continuous look like I typically would, I've been watching everyone these past couple weeks and just like I think complexes are a great way to like get back into things because it's really I think it's very translatable to meets in the way of like this is something hard and you might just have to figure it out and like let's see what we're willing to like go for and figure out. But I think my mindset as well, like we've been saying this for like the past 20 minutes, is like the expectations of it all and just going like for me, I think the biggest thing that I would say, even thinking about it now to everyone, whoever I have that day, is like focus on the lift that's on the platform currently. I think so
Yeah,
many times we go like, all right, I have to make this so that we can go up to this number. And then if I do that number well, then we can try this other number that I really want to get. And you're thinking 8 kilos ahead of your opener. And that's why you miss an opener because you're not even thinking about the weight that's in front of you. So I think it would be mostly that of just like we said, like the expectations going in being like, these are the numbers that we're going to do. Let's focus on making these lifts. And that might just be like taking it one lift at a time, really
yeah,
focusing. And then, yeah, I think going forward, I'll be watching for everyone's like little things. Like Haley's thing was like, are even as she's breaking it, or is it like one side rolling forward? Like little things like that that like people do that I can be like, what are the things that we can clean up on the meet day? That's a good thing to say to you.
yeah.
Instead of like, I don't need to hype these guys up. Like, I don't think this is the meet for that either. I think it's like
No,
focus,
yeah.
not like
It
go,
it's going to be
go.
making sure that Chris is where he needs to be at the right time and not socializing, you know,
Right.
or deciding to change something in technique that he saw in the video literally the night before, because that happened last year, where I was like,
Yep.
wait, what are you doing? Why is that your start position now? It's like, well, I saw a video or something last night, and I'm like, no, no, that it's like just picking up. So like you learning everyone's little nuances. And
Yeah.
I have notes, of course, on the things that everyone's been kind of really focusing on now, and we'll dial those in the weeks up the states. But just little things like that. someone's going to the bathroom, or you got 3 minutes to do that,
Yeah.
making sure people take their bathroom trips. And I'm happy about it too, in a sense of like I can still be there, just more in like a supportive background sense on like oh, like they are getting along, and then flag you down, like just so you know, like
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
like so like just be around in that sense. And it's always funny. Day one, like for Jennifer and Haley, like I feel sharp and like ready to go and like, all right, we're doing stuff. Day two, I'm hearing sounds. You ever like when you have such
Yeah.
a lack of sleep and stuff that you can hear vibrations and your body. So it's like last year, if Sarasota didn't have ibuprofen on her, but that's in her her technical officials like little kit, and I have now a new fanny pack. I got the Gym Reapers fanny pack off of Amazon.
Yep.
Pretty sweet. So that's gonna. I already have my bottle of ibuprofen. I'm coming prepared. But if she didn't
Yeah.
have that last year, boy, I would have been really like suffering to get through those sessions. So it'll be nice to have someone like fresh eyes, fresh brain. It's not the end of the weekend, because also you guys are going like at the end, and it's like, boy, I feel like mashed potatoes right now. Let's go. All
Right.
right, all right, Miguel's up. Oh, Shaf's up, and I gotta run run through my little back alley there to get over there. So it's gonna be good, I think, for everybody. That's just a fresh pair of eyes, a fresh brain, someone who's well slept, hopefully,
Yeah. Yeah.
handling those sessions. Because I never felt it more than I did last year on like I wish I would have felt the way I felt for Haley and Jennifer sessions, the way the same as for you guys'
Right.
sessions, but that
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
not not the case. So I think it's gonna
Hmm.
be good. I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
a good thing. I mean, I was thinking about like if Haley was coming and free, that she would be the one to do this, but because I was assuming way back that you would be competing, but of course there's a baby involved now, and and of course Haley needs to be taking care of Callum,
Yeah.
who will be competing at states next year, probably next year in the youth division, going out there lifting big. Maybe not. He's got a couple years to go before he's out on a states platform.
Yeah.
Any
Yeah.
any so you're gonna be like what can we focus on, and we'll have those things. Uh, are you considering anything on like where you want them to be? All right, let's get this platform, because you know where the platforms stuff are gonna be, and
Hmm.
people typically have their things to go. Any concerns that you're like trying to like work through in your head in advance?
No, not in like placement. Again, I think it's a focus thing, and I think my presence helps. Like we already know, like Shaf and Alex, too nice. Chris just not focused sometimes, and like will get going. And I think I have a mean enough face that like if I'm
Nice.
standing there and my arms will be crossed, people are less likely to come to that platform. And then with Chris, I'll just yell at Chris and I'm like, all right, go. And yeah. So I think that's the thing. It's like you have to move from like place to place, and I will be stationary just on whoever I need to be on. And then they're less likely to move if I'm like eyes on you the entire time. So
Yeah.
I think that's going to be it. And even like as we train for the remainder up to states, I'm really going to be like, what things are you guys doing that I think is not great? Like, Imam, you guys are moving around way too much. This is crazy. Like,
Yeah.
the clock just went. How are people still moving around? Like, that's the things that I'm doing right now in training where I'm like, we gotta shut that down right now.
Yeah. I could tell on that Imam, and this is the reason I wanted to do an EMOM where the weight changes. Didn't have to be a
Yeah.
big change. It's like the most simplest change, 1 kilo. So we've got like from where we start a 4 kilo spread, which is good. So the technique doesn't change dramatically. If we were going up by, let's say, threes, that'd be a lot, over 10 kilos from where we started. So as the fatigue sets in, we should be able to handle this. But it's like, can you do this tedious work under pressure and then do another lift? Because The warm-up room is the plate's gonna be everywhere. They're gonna be scattered all over
Yeah.
the place. You need to find that plate, make the weight, do the lift because Miguel's telling you that we need to take this lift right now. And you should have been thinking about that while you were sitting over there talking on the back or something, you know.
Yeah.
So I think this is good. It's it's planned chaos. Like it's if it seemed chaotic, it's like that's what I was imagining what would happen and what we need to be ready for because it's not going to be perfect when we're in that warm-up room. It's hot, which hopefully we'll get the air on, we'll put down the shades, you know,
Mhm.
that's part of my job. But also the plates are everywhere. There's people everywhere. That guy's going, that guy's going. And if you're in a platform in front of another platform, why are you waiting for them to go like get on your platform and do the
Yeah.
lift, you know? That goes back to the kind of the niceness thing. Um, so yeah, that's part of it. That's why we're doing those EMOMs, why we're doing complexes, and tomorrow. So next week we only meet twice, and then I'll send people the third day if they want to do it before Justin's birthday party there. But day one tomorrow, we're doing the 5 kilo ladder, which again, it's kind of like how long can you last? Keep snatching until you can't snatch anymore, clean jerk till you can't clean jerk, and then finally we'll do deadlifts for some heavy pulls. And then on Wednesday, we're doing yo-yo complexes. So just like experiencing the lifts in different challenges where you can just push to a maximum for the day. And because of the
Yeah.
nature of the complex, it'll vary the type of maximum you can get to. And something like the 5 kilo ladder, it's like at some point you're gonna have to really focus. Like it always starts off silly, that 5 kilo ladder where you're like, these are weights I never do until
Yeah.
suddenly it starts to be like you hit the one lift and you're like, oh, I have to really dial it in. I can't, you
Yeah.
know, do this. And working on different clocks, it's a 90-second clock on that ladder. And then when eventually you're out, you have to live with that defeat. On the 5 kilo
Mhm.
ladder, there is no comeback unless you can do it during the interval to get back on snatches. Once the
Yeah.
opportunity is gone, that's it. Looks like you're on the clean jerks now. So
Mhm.
that's kind of why I've been picking some of these things where like there's realities built into them. There's chaotic situations built into them. If we were just doing clean sets, like all right, we're doing 5x2 on the snatch, I don't know what that does for us at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it'll be good. And we'll kind of keep going with that because again, I don't know if there's much else we can do to kind of close the physical gap. I think we
Yeah.
just have to keep the mental aspect of it high.
For sure.
Well, any other thoughts on? I guess it's all kind of been one common thread, but like ADK series, how those guys did, and then coaching estates. This will be kind of your first time like I coaching estates, right? Outside of
I've done
maybe
a session here
helping.
and there. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I feel like it's been a while since I've even my presence at a weightlifting meet. So yeah, it'll be cool to get back into it.
Yeah, yeah, it's gonna be fun. And I think we have a good game plan going in. I think we're gonna do the work we need to do, and if this is a less stressful overall states for everybody, I think that's not a bad thing. You know, like
Yeah.
let's do it. Then we'll roll into the off season and we'll just have a great time training, and then we'll see what our next meet is. I don't know if I don't know. Do you think there's a return to the Arnold in the team at some point? What do you think? It's been a few years
Um,
now.
I think we could. Yeah. It'll only be
Could,
dudes though, which is less ideal, but yeah,
yeah.
we could figure it out. I think,
Hey,
yeah, I
I don't
think we
know.
could do it with this squad.
I think Haley's goal was to get back into lifting by the end of the year. I think her hold is only until November. Um,
Hmm.
which of course with there's an I made sure that she understood we can move that like around.
Yeah.
Like I think that's where her mind was at the time on where to put it. But of course we'll reevaluate that. But you never know. You never know. Haley could pop back in there. Maybe we'll see a Renee come out of the, out of the woodworks and
Yeah.
decide it is an Arnold a big enough thing to draw people back in? Could be.
We got to make it a big thing, right? Like we got to make it
Yeah.
worthwhile. Like I got to see something out of this team for me to
Yeah.
make the call to send
Yeah.
out the bat signal for everyone to return.
Because I know, I mean, Chris obviously hasn't done it before. Alex hasn't done it before. It is a nice experience for people.
Yeah.
Jennifer never had the opportunity to do it just because school was always in the way.
Right.
So I'd even reach out to Jennifer like, "Hey, we're all going to be out there. I don't know what the work schedule looks like, you know." And I got to check in with Jennifer. I don't even know if training has been a thing. Um, Jennifer's very self-sufficient, so I would not be surprised at all if Jennifer has just been out there in California doing the rotations and surgery and going to a gym and just doing what she knows and learned. Like what I want,
Yeah.
like that's exactly. I had a conversation with Tanzira on the phone a few weeks ago. She just wanted to talk about some advice on how to get back into training and stuff. And I was just like, make it fun. Like no prescribed program. Like don't ask me to send you anything. Just go in and be like, do I want a back squat today? Yeah, I kind of do. I kind of feel like back squatting today. And just go by feel. Just have whatever is the most fun that day, do that. Then the next day it could be something completely different, or it could be the exact same thing, you know? Sometimes the best program is no program, and the program is that, you just go in, you're like, yeah, I did singles on the back squat each day, and I just snatched up to a heavy one or two each day I went in. That actually is a program. That's
Yep.
the program I used to do way back in the day, every day. There was
Hmm.
no like this 80%. It's like, yeah, just snatch today, just go heavy
Yep.
today, and whatever the day warrants is where you'll stop, and it literally was different every day. So you never know what might happen.
Yeah.
And our ADK regional will be a little different this year. I'm thinking a lot about it. I I almost want to go back to a stripped down, more traditional meet. And what I mean by that is like a lot less electronics, a lot less of all that stuff.
Mhm.
Like, can we just have the snatch and clean jerk be the centerpiece? We have a platform. If it means me sitting at the table and just shuffling the cards because that's a skill on its own for all 4 sessions or something, like let's just do it that way. Let's just do like a simple meet.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so. Why not? I think, yeah, I think we've gotten the benefit of having regional as like a get ready for these bigger meets. Like this is what you'll see at these bigger meets. I think we've kind of got that idea. So it's like, yeah, there's no need for that necessarily, at least for us. Um,
Yeah,
it definitely helps a lot. And like, this is the expectation for like when you get to states or these bigger meets. But yeah, again, I mean, especially if we like go to the Arnold or something, then we come back and just do a simpler meet in terms of like, again, the technology and
yeah,
just go there and lift. Yeah.
yeah, and it all works. So it's like I was thinking to myself after this year, I'm like, all right, if it's built up to a certain point, and at some point it's like, are we like kind of doing too much, like, or like maybe can we like bring this back and just do it more old school style and still have it work? Because and really that's we had a lot of technology issues this year, that kind of like made things tougher. But if you're not doing those things don't exist, like we literally could just do paddles up in there. So the button
Yeah.
system is great. I love the button system, but like let's just do it a different way. This is the stripped down year,
Yeah.
simplify things. Been trying to do that with both these meets, so that might actually be a thing. So we'll see.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool, awesome. Well, Miguel, any other thoughts on anything we've talked about?
Yeah. I mean, just because we sound right now like we're gonna reel it back in for states doesn't mean that you guys can just expect to walk all over us. We're still a crazy team. If we need to, we'll turn it up. We're just
Yep,
we're weighing things out right now. So
we're being
yeah,
practical.
right. But we
We're
can get
being
crazy if we
practical
need to.
and responsible. but don't twist our arm to get irresponsible.
Yeah.
uh, yeah, because I mean, you never know the situation,
Yeah.
So, and also, we could just be saying this right now. You never
Right.
know. We
I
could be
could
like
sign up
Arnold,
right
being
now.
like, "Yeah, do these little fly weights for 200 reps every day." And meanwhile, he doesn't do it. It's like,
Yeah.
never know what's gonna happen. Yeah, that's true. You have until I think 11:59 tomorrow or whatever it is to sign up for states. You just wake up in a stupor and you're just do it.
Yeah.
At, and then next thing you know, you're like, yeah, I'm doing states. And then flash forward to where you're like angry at
Yeah.
past Miguel for doing that to
Yeah.
you. But cool. Awesome. All right. Well, where can people follow you?
Couldn't be Miguel on Instagram.
Be Miguel. Follow me, James Durham. Follow Albany CrossFit Barbell Club. Follow Albany CrossFit. New York Weightlifting. We're gonna have a lot of stuff coming out soon. All the info. Oh, I'm gonna have to put you on the coaches email list now, because you're not gonna be getting those emails, and they ain't gonna be forwarding you those emails.
Yeah.
And since I was the one that wrote the emails, I already had them, so it doesn't matter. So okay, we'll make sure that you're on that. Cool. All right. Thank you everybody for listening. End the stream.